Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Applied Meditation course. Buddhists say there are really three levels of reality. The first one is our three-dimensional reality, the reality in which we all exist, where everything appears as if it comes from its own side and as if everything has its true nature. The second level is the level where you understand the emptiness of this three-dimensional reality, or rather the absence of things have their own nature. So this is the level where you understand that everything is devoid of its own true nature, and it's simply a projection of your own mind. And the third level is the level where you understand the cause and effect of everything. And this is the level of the enlightened being. But to get to this level, you first need to get past this three-dimensional reality. And the only way to get there is through the meditation. So the meditation is not not just the way to become calm, composed, cool, but it's the path to ultimate happiness. And this is why we're talking about meditation today. And this is the reason for this course. And my name is Lena Gurba, and I am welcoming you from the 1 Million Meditator community page. It's a wonderful community created single-handedly by an amazing Anita Morrow with a small group of people. She really amassed over 11,000 meditators all over the globe, and this community is rapidly growing. So it just shows that there is a strong need for a community of fellow like-minded people who can meditate together. And I'm extremely grateful for her to offer me the opportunity to teach this course and also address the people on my Facebook page and on the Empowered You page. And so I threw a lot at you, and I'm still trying to figure out how the apologies. Just trying to understand how. Oh, now you can see me. Yes, so this course, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself and how I came to be a meditator. I wasn't always a meditator. I started my journey into the meditation after the 2000, really started it 10 years ago, right after the 2008 crisis. No surprise. It was a very turbulent time, and I have a feeling, and based on all the science, we're going into similarly turbulent time right now. And there's probably no better time to learn about the meditation as it is now. When I was started, I was a novice. I had no idea. So I experimented, and I had zero preconceived notions, expectations, and it always makes it easy. And I tried different things, and maybe 5 years ago, I started to learn it more deeper, went to the variety of different styles, techniques, and I found it all in all the usual places where we all go. You know, the information right now is unlimited. It's books, it's YouTube, it's truly, there's no shortage. There's a shortage quality of the information, but there are no shortage of sources. So, and there's a lot of poorly constructed fads, I would say, that proliferate. But when you start going deeper in it and start trying, and I've read books, and there are so many styles, the more I tried, the more I experimented, the more I was confused. And I wanted to understand the true basics, the very correct and proper way of doing it, and why you're doing it in the first place. And I also took a year with Joe Dispenza. Very grateful to him for his teaching, and he really taught me to sit for longer than a very brief period of time. At the beginning, when I was trying, and Joe conducts retreats, multi-day retreats, and there you can have a 3 or 4 hour meditation, even longer, and that's a challenge. And it's really not about the duration. I would say it's more about the quality. But the beginning, it was very challenging for me to sit still for an extended period of time. So I've tried everything. I did cold baths for more than a year at the beginning of my meditation, 4 in the morning, early, just to discipline my mind. I would even put myself in the diapers, so I had no excuse, that my mind had no excuse to get up and do something else. What I would say, don't start with long meditations. Don't torture yourself. Michael Roach, a brilliant teacher who taught me everything I know about the meditation, and it is based on his wisdom that he was sharing, is this course based on. He said that when he was learning to do yoga and the teacher told him to touch his toes, he could only touch his knees. So the next day, the teacher brought 10 yellow page books and he said, touch the top one. And he was able to do it. So from there, he said, rip a page a day and go lower. So start with 10 minutes. If you are just trying this, or even if you are an experienced one, the meditation is really not about going and quieting your thoughts and going, not thinking about anything. It's really not the purpose. I started the conversation about emptiness, and I'll talk a little bit more about it. But the purpose of the meditation is to experience emptiness of things directly. So, and there are different styles, but that is the purpose. It's really to get the second base of reality. And if you start with 10 minutes of single pointed focus on proper objects, and we try different objects in this course, it is a 12-week course. I'll try to keep every class to about 30 minutes and keep it excited and give you a little bit of history, a little bit of history behind the Eastern practice of meditation, because that's the origins of it. We'll talk about the science. Also, along with the history, we'll talk about styles. We'll talk about different levels of meditation. We'll talk about difficulties and how to overcome them. And most importantly, we'll figure out how to stay motivated to practice it routinely on a daily basis and extend the time you would do it. If you would add a minute every Sunday, in a year, you'll be up to an hour and 2 minutes. And that, the masters say, is enough time to see emptiness directly. So the purpose for this course is just to get you excited and committed and give you the basics, and it's applied in a way that you could do it daily in the busy lives that we all lead, with children, jobs, and other different priorities that all compete for time, and do it with quality. So again, I want to thank the teacher, Michael Roach. Michael Roach is a scholar, Princeton educated scholar, and he's also one of the first Westerners, Americans, who spent 25 years in Tibetan monastery, one of the first one who did that in the last 600 years. And he got to the level of the PhD in Buddhism, so it's a Geshe degree. And he brought what he studied for 25 years in the monastery here. Not only he brought it, translated, put it into courses that are now available on the Asian Classic Institute. He also applied it very successfully in the business world. So let's jump more into the meat of this conversation. And I want to talk to you about emptiness, because if you get this concept, at least intellectually, it will be a huge milestone, because life is not an illusion. It's all very real, but it is devoid of its own nature. And when you hear that the world is the projection of you, and to change the world, you have to change you, this is the genesis of what emptiness is. So if maybe we'll do a quick course and a quick test, and please do ask questions. I am able to see your comments, and if I don't get to your questions now, I promise that I will get to them in the Q&A section that I'll designate. And so I'm going to show you an object, and please mentally ask the questions that I will ask. And what is this beautiful, shiny object? And you're correct if you answered that this is a pen. But I have a year-old puppy, a wonderful puppy. And what if my puppy walks into the room and I would wiggle the object in front of the puppy? Her name is Rosa. Funny name. Brittany Spaniel with a ton of energy. So if I were to wiggle, I would guarantee that she would perceive it as a chew toy. She'll be chewing it immediately. And what if I lay the pen on the ground where there are ants crawling? What do you think the ants will perceive this object to be? And if you're thinking that they would think of it as an obstacle, a log, some huge obstacle in the ants' world, a large stick that they have to climb over, you would be correct. So now you're probably starting to understand that this object, this cylinder, elongated object, is really not a pen on its own. Something must be in the one that looks at this plastic object that makes it a pen. Something must be in the mind of the viewer to perceive it one way or the other. And what if everybody leaves the room? There's no me here, there's no you, virtually. There's no dogs, there's no Rosa, there are no ants, there's nobody. You leave this object on the table and everybody leaves the room. And what would this be now? And if you're thinking that it can be everything at the same time or nothing at all, you're correct. It's just a potential. And this little simple example illustrates a profound philosophical concept that is called emptiness. And what it means, it simply means that not a single object has the nature of its own, not a single quality, comes from its own side. My perception of the pain comes not from the pain, it comes from me. I'm transposing my perception, an image of what is in my mind on it. So, not a single object, not a single person has any qualities that are not changeable, that are absolute. And when you understand the emptiness, you can create anything you want in your life because the reality comes from you, not onto you. And but if I decide if this is a pure potential, make it in the stack of cash or a huge diamond, I can close my eyes and think about it and visualize it and manifest it. But there is something else that needs to be present for it to happen because I open my eyes and no degree of visualization will create a diamond out of it. So, you can create a diamond. You can create an ideal world when you have correct mental recordings in our unconscious. The mental seeds, they will open up and show, manifest themselves as a perfect world, as a happy world where people are happy and everything is devoid of suffering. But you need to create those images first in your brain. And the meditation is the perfect way where we create those images in. Meditation is really a crossing line between the past and the future. This is the line where you create your future in the present moment. And you first plant those seeds in the meditation. So that's why it's so vitally important to understand what we're doing in the meditation, knowing that everything is empty. And diamond in the Buddhist literature, in the Buddhist scriptures, is a symbol of emptiness. And it's for three reasons. Diamond is the only material in the world that has absolute hardness. Everything else changes. And there's nothing harder than the diamond. Secondly, it has absolute clarity and transparency. Emptiness is clear and it's always around, but we cannot see it because of its absolute transparency. It is the higher order of reality, the reality where everything is possible. And the third reason, if you break the diamond into pieces, every piece will resemble all the qualities of the larger one. So, how do we apply this incredible knowledge to create happiness that we all strive for? First, I would talk about the benefits of meditation because we apply this first in meditation, in the practice of meditation. So there's a lot of literature, and I've read that myself everywhere. Harvard, all the prominent schools, educational institutions are studying. Everybody is studying what is in it, what is the meditation. And because I'm here to sell you on the meditation, I want to talk about the benefits first. And maybe you have experienced a lot of benefits yourself. And maybe you can share with the group, whoever's watching, in the comments, what were the biggest pluses for you. I'm going to share a little bit from my own experience and something that I haven't experienced yet, but it is cited as a benefit. Um, well, as the side effect from meditation, you become calm, cool, and collected. Sometimes I joke with my kids that when I don't meditate in the morning and before the day starts, because when the day starts, it's things start showing themselves on you. So I joke and I say, kids, you're gonna get unmeditated mama, non-meditated mama. So I try not to skip the pillow. You do become calm, and your life becomes a more controlled environment. It is just a side effect of meditation. Most importantly, it's the increased focus. Um, when you're as a child or when you engrossed in something that you enjoy a lot, you go so deep, you stay so focused, narrowly focused, in something that you don't notice. You don't notice the noises around. You don't notice that you might be hungry. You don't notice anything. So this increased focus is what meditation allows. It allows you to expand your capacity to set your mind on something and stay on it. As you the more you practice, the more you develop the skill, and you can apply it in anything. Whatever happens outside, I don't know, politics, fires, some unrest someplace, a havoc at work, at home. If you can focus, you can stay single-mindedly, single-pointedly focused on something. I don't know, a good feeling, happiness. You can stay focused on the topic and be more productive at work. So it's a tool that is critical now because we live in the age of social media and we have this wonderful device that allows us to do so much, but it competes for our time, and the time is limited for everybody. So I'm very grateful for the time you're spending right now with me. So focus. Meditation makes you smarter. You become a better problem solver. There is energetics behind the meditation practice, and that's the reason. It's a longer conversation, it's a longer description, and we'll go into it eventually. But you become smarter because of the way in meditation you channel your energy. It's more centrally channeled, and when it's centrally channeled, you become more intelligent. You solve problems better. So it's a wonderful tool to have in your business and personal life. You can decompose things easier. In the meditation state, in the meditative state, there are different types of meditations. In the analytical meditations, you can look at the root causes of something. You can be your own psychoanalyst. You can look at your own root causes, or you can test different solutions in meditative state. We'll try that style of the meditation so you become familiar with it. There you can also, I told you that it's the barrier where you cross from the old you into the new you. You can practice. You can practice responding differently. You practice changing your mind in meditation. And you can work out the obstacles. You don't need to bring them out into the real world, in this three-dimensional world. So, because the biggest problems arise when we perceive the world coming onto you, and you don't perceive the obstacles that are created by you. And we're challenged by that every day. So meditation helps to deal with that challenge. Greater harmony in relationships, wherever they are, at home or at work. I know this because when I cultivate every morning a calm mind, I perceive the world as calm. And when I perceive the world as calm, it comes to me peaceful. My husband is more peaceful. My children are more peaceful. My cat and dogs are more peaceful. They even meditate with you, and you see oftentimes on animals very quickly what effect the meditation has on them. And on a deeper level, you also can pause and understand that what you see in others is simply a mirror of what's going on within you. You might be, um, you might be able to understand why things are coming or appearing, whether at home or in the business world, the way they are. Number 4, stress. Stress is a killer, and we talked about it. That the mind, you get a greater peace of mind, less stressful. I lived in New York City until a year ago. Stress is the grid of the big conglomerate, a big metropolis like New York City. And by now, we all know that stress kills. So in the meditation, you're actually changing your physical being. Because under stress, we all stop breathing, and we remember this state, and it becomes our default state. And the default state is the stress state. I remember in one of the retreats, uh, I could feel how stressed I was, how defaulted this state is in my mind, because I just couldn't relax. I couldn't breathe. I didn't know how to breathe. I forgot. We forgot. The babies breathe with their bellies, and then we grow up and we forget. Few of us actually know how to breathe. I was doing an exercise yesterday with my 12-year-old, and I was telling her to expand the belly. She didn't know how. It was just a barrier that she couldn't penetrate. And I know I had to deal with that too. So meditation antidotes the stress, because in a good meditation system, you are learning about the subtle body, which is running our physical body, and you're getting in touch with that subtle body. And it is deep and much more calming and much less run by stories and emotions. It's the level below the stories and emotions. And with proper training, you begin to see, you see where your expression of mind and body are coming from. You pierce through that emotional body. You see how in stress we confined to the time limit. And in meditation, that time limit is removed, that confinement is removed, so your mind expands. Number 5, you get an increased ability to anticipate the future. This is awesome, because when you meditate, when we talked about the pain, I didn't explain to you what happens, how the images are transposed on whatever objects you're experiencing. These mental seeds that create the reality that we are perceiving, they open at a speed of 64 frames a second. So it's very rapid. movie that we've seen. In the regular movie, they're usually 24, 25 frames. In the 3D dimensional reality that we exist in, the speed is triple. It's 64 frames a minute, and only the masters who can go deep into the meditation experience the emptiness. They saw how the frames open, how these mental seeds open and create the reality that we experience. um, so in meditation, when you slow your mind, you see the line of mental seeds that are about to open, and that's what um, you see the physical reality before it unfolds, because you're slowing down the frames of the video. Um, and that's what, when you get to that level, people who get to this level, they can see the things that are unfolding at the scale of the world. Um, these are the 5 main benefits that I wanted to talk to you, but I also wanted to mention a couple of others that will come with deeper practice, and people who have done deep meditation retreats for extended period of time, 3-year meditation retreats. They cite these, and it is not my direct experience, but it's you get in touch with a higher reality. Um, you you understand how deceptive reality can almost can hurt us, because depending how we respond to it, we create our future, because the future is always created in the present moment. Everything that opens up and pops on your screen of your reality with the speed of 64 frames a second, that is an incredible speed. And the only awareness and being able to trace your thoughts could help us, because depending on how we respond to this reality that we perceive, we formulate the future, because every action, word, or thought puts another mental seed in your mind. So it's constantly creating the future. Um, so, and this reality that is unseen, the pure potential one, it's, pristine stillness. When you're in pristine stillness, you can drop into that reality, and that reality is always around us. But it's only accessible in the meditation. When you meditate consistently on the daily basis. And that's what I talk about, contact with the other reality, the pure potential reality, as one of the benefits. The other huge one is the benefit is the ability to eliminate negative emotions, literally terminate them, kill them. Because meditation is a challenge. It's not a romantic model. It's not just sitting and breathing. You work. It's very heavy spiritual work. It's the most difficult work there is. And it takes courage to go deep within, because you're going into the mind and the heart of who you are. And that takes a lot of courage. It was very scary for me at the beginning. So, but you can understand your negative emotions, and deal with them, work with them. The higher kinds of love, and it comes along with the experience of touching the diamond world that I talked about. There you can experience higher kinds of love. And the masters say that in that reality, it's possible to see every kind of living being. That potential comes from service and compassion. And last one, just being conscious of time, it's the soft heart and understanding that we're really all in this together, that we're all dealing with daily problems, and we all know that death is inevitable, but we're pretending that it doesn't. And when you have compassion for every living being, um, because we all are reflections of each other, it opens your heart. And maybe if Anita allows me down the road, I'll teach another course around compassion. So, wrapping this up, um, meditation really allows you to read, because if you don't know how to read, you travel blind in this world. And it allows you uh, to see beyond what you experience as a movie on the screen of this life. And today we talked about the increased ability to focus, the improved decision making, greater harmony in the relationships, improved stress resilience, and ability to predict the future. In addition, we talked about the contact with the higher reality, um, ability to eliminate negative emotions, attain higher kinds of love, and understanding that we all in this together. So I hope this was helpful. In the next class, and we'll meet every Wednesday for half an hour, and we'll start practicing more. And next time, we'll talk about the what is authentic meditation, how you set yourself up, and think about what would you get out. Set the intention what you would want to get out of this meditation course, and maybe write it down for me to understand. But remember, there is never a bad meditation. Even if you just sit down and breathe for 5 minutes, it's wonderful. So please join. If you're not on the 1 million meditator community, please join. Please bring your loved ones or friends to the next class, Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you again for your time, and have a wonderful day today.